Previous exercise, you explored some of the ways in which Christians have traditionally interpreted their scripture. Over time, other modes of interpretation appeared. Sadly, we can only provide glimpses of the long and complex history of biblical interpretation in our introductory course. I would, however, like to give you at least a taste of some innovations in more recent times by turning our attention to one region of the globe, the modern West. During the period of colonial expansion, Northern Europe underwent a series of wide-reaching social and intellectual changes. Biblical theology and interpretation in the West was profoundly affected by the Enlightenment age of reason and its aftermath. The rise of modern scientific investigation brought to the fore a paradigm shift. Now, by that I mean scientific method introduced fundamental changes in the underlying assumptions about how human beings can know about the world. Broadly speaking, this method held that knowledge needs to be based on objective evidence. That evidence is perceived through observation. Hypotheses are then advanced to give a logical theory to explain the evidence. And then that hypothesis is subjected to carefully devised tests based on physical observation or measurement. The impact of the method is readily apparent globally in technology and communication, healthcare and education, and much more. The writing of history was also impacted by science's high valuation of objective evidence as the basis for claims to knowledge and truth. Prior to this shift, history had been used primarily for edification. For example, providing moral or political exemplars to emulate or to avoid, and to offer cautionary reviews of past events to guide future action. The value of histories lay precisely in shaping individuals and societies toward the highest ideals of their times. The standards of science, however, shifted the emphasis. Leopold von Ranke, often called the father of modern historicism, famously wrote, and I quote, "History has been given the office of judging the past and assessing the present times in order to provide teaching for future years. This current endeavor of mine does not aspire to such high services. It simply wants to say what actually happened." Theologians, biblical scholars, and believers alike were affected by the scientific revolution and the rise of modern historicism. New practices of biblical interpretation and new controversies arose. To illustrate these, let me offer three new types of interpretation: realism in art, historical criticism, and fundamentalism.